Hey y'all, hey, we are back for another review of Sisters. We're on season 8, episode 15, entitled Tectonic Shifts. And so we pick back up with Gary, and he's trying his hardest to remember, I'm still using quotes, Fatima as the one that stabbed him based on the pictures that Agent Watt is showing him, which in some cases you can consider that, leading, hey, which one of these people stabbed you, and showing him a lineup of all of his closest friends and family. That's not impartial. Either way, he shows the pictures and he identified Fatima in the last episode. And so Agent Watt wants to explore that more. But he can only recall her pulling out the knife on him prior to the wedding day. So prior to the event where someone tried to unalive him, he recalls her and Andy being in there questioning him, but this was about Penelope's whereabouts. That's when Fatima pulled the knife out on him. This is the event that he's remembering, but he cannot remember the actual stabbing, and so Agent Watt is going to take this circumstantial event and try to tie it to her attempting to unalive him, even though there are dozens of people that have a vested interest in him no longer being alive. And so that is what we're going to explore a lot, in and out of this episode. Meanwhile, Andy is doubling down on asking Robin, like, oh, did you do it? Like, did you stab Gary or not? It's a simple answer. And Robin is outdone at the fact that she would even have the thought process that he could do such a thing, and he insists on the fact that he didn't do it. He's looking out for her best interest, blah, blah, blah. And he actually wants to know, like, where did you get this thought from? Like, who's putting these thoughts in your head? And she's like, none of that matters. Did you do it? And he's like, listen, I know it's Fatima. And she's looking like, her face is giving it away. She ain't got no poker face, so her face is kind of giving away, like, how did he know that? But he's like, listen, I know that she's your friend, and I know she has a vested interest in you being innocent. We know you're innocent, but she has your back. And she reminds him that, hey, Fatima don't got nothing to do with this. I'm more than capable of thinking of this or coming to my own conclusion myself. Now, we did know that Fatima and Zach kind of gave her the idea because she did not think of it, but she's keeping up this tough girl act, not letting her guard down with Robin because he's trying to take control of her, and she's not trying to end up in a Gary-esque type of situation again. So I'll allow it. Okay. Sabrina and Rich, they're still talking about the fact that he has the sickle cell trait with the doctor and that he's ineligible to be a donor. And then Sabrina's genetic testing came back clean, so she never thought, that this could be a possibility. But now he feels like he's damaged goods, and Sabrina is, she's familiar with how the sickle cell trait affects the Black community, but she wants a little bit more information, so the doctor is giving her that information, and he's pissed. Like, his thoughts are so all over the place that he's in tears. And she's trying to assure him, like, hey, it's going to be okay. Like, we're going to be all right. But he is afraid of what his future kids could experience. And, of course, Rich is facing all of this with anger. But the doctor tells him that Sabrina doesn't carry the trait, so the kids should be fine. But the clinic's policy won't allow him to use his sperm because, liabilities and all that type of thing. And so the doctor also tells her, like, hey, this isn't, well, and then Sabrina's like, okay, we'll just go to another clinic. And so the doctor's like, hey, all of the clinics have similar policies, so I don't know if that's going to help you none, but whatever. And the doctor tells her, like, hey, just keep in mind that all your money and your time and your energy is not lost because you still have another viable donor, which would be Mr. Damani from the office. And so now Sabrina has the decision to make, and she's like, listen, you still have a viable decision, but you got a little bit of time to make it, so you need to decide if you want, Damani's sample to expire or whatever that time limit is. Let us know what you want to do. Go home and think about it, basically. Okay. Fatima pops up at Karen's house, and Karen wants her to see what it feels like for people to pop by. Fatima wants her to see what it's like for people to pop by unannounced, and even though she's there to have a conversation. And so they talk about their pregnancies, and Karen tells her, like, hey, I haven't told anybody. And Fatima's like, no, I haven't told anybody. But I would like to keep it a secret until we're comfortable. And Karen lets her know, like, your secret is safe with me. Let's go on with the conversation. But she did tell her, like, hey, don't tell Zach to not let Danny know, because we all know she can't hold water in a glass, right? Now, that's your homegirl. You kind of diming her out, but you might be right. Either way, Fatima's there to affirm their little truce that they agreed on quite some time ago, how they're going to co-parent and be good to each other. blah, blah, blah. I guess to just reaffirm, like, hey, even though I'm pregnant, I don't want you to be, and Karen reminds her, hey, I'm not jealous of the fact that you are knocked up by Zach. I let that go. I can assure you I don't want him no more. And we just need to remind each other, like, we're gonna remain cordial without being overly nice, without being fake about it. And so, that they're gonna be agreeing to that over and over during the episode. All right, so Agent Watt is still with Gary, and he shows him a picture of Zach. And Gary appears to be thoroughly confused, even though I'm still not buying it. But he does confirm that Andy was there when Fatima threatened him with the knife. And then he tries to backpedal, saying, I'm not sure that she was there. He's not really sure. And then he says that Zach hit him when they were talking about the money. So he's getting bits of his memory back. And he remembers Zach hitting him, and he knows that Zach and Fatima are together, so he's trying to say they did this to him together, even though he's thinking about an isolated incident. And so, of course, Agent Watt's going to take that and run with it. But he claims to not know why all these people are after him, and so now that sends him into a tizzy, like, well, what did he do? What did he ever do to these people, and why are they on him? Meanwhile, Rich apologizes to going off on Sabrina at the doctor's appointment, and she has feelings about this too, and she's angry and she's frustrated because they were so close to getting what they want out of her family. And he tells her, like, listen, we ain't got to be too mad about it. We could do this thing the old-fashioned way, and we could do it today. And she hesitates, and he's like, well, why are you hesitating? And she's like, listen, calm down. He's like, no, let's prove everybody wrong. Let's just go ahead and make this happen the traditional way. And she's like, listen, I'm hesitant because I said I wanted a baby, just not tomorrow. Like, that's why I was freezing embryos and blah, blah, blah. But now he's mad all over again, and we got to deal with that. All right, so Miss Willis, she shows up at Andy's penthouse because she wants to know, like, how in the hell she let Robin push her out of the firm. And Andy is just wallowing in self-pity right now. She is eating a pint of ice cream, and she is not even interested in what Miss Willis is talking about. And she's like, listen, I'm not happy that Leland is handling my affairs. I took all my business over there because of you, off of our relationship. So what are you going to do, Andy? And Andy has no answers. And so Miss Willis is like, listen, I don't want to hear any of that self-pity bullshit you got going on. I need you to pull yourself up out of the gutter, pull yourself up out of the slump. And Andy's like, no, I'm trying to be like Michelle Obama as far as, like, when they go low, we go high. And Miss Willis is like, girl, I went to school with Michelle. She is on some old other stuff. That's dumb. When they go low, you go to hell. And so we need to figure out a way to get you back where you were and get you what's rightfully yours. So I'm sure that we'll delve more into that in the next episode. So Fatima asks Karen for her word that she won't be popping up the next time Zach doesn't answer. And she's like, oh, too easy. I agree. And she was like, listen, in the spirit of the new truths, I'm going to agree, the revived truths or whatever it is. I'll agree. And then Fatima reminds her, like, listen, you agreed to this before, but here we are again. She's like, yeah, I know. But she does admit, like, hey, the last time I ain't really give a damn. And she's like, what? She's like, no, seriously, honestly, I really didn't give a damn how you felt, but now I do. We're good. We're going to co-parent. I don't want no smoke. No more problems. So they good for now, child. We'll see. Okay. Gary is still freaking out. He's getting more and more agitated, wondering why everybody wants his head on a platter. And Agent Watt takes some sort of delight in this man being upset because he wants to try to, like, coax more information out of him and get more memories that support his case or his theory, whoever he wants to be guilty. And, of course, Hudson rolls in just in time to get Agent Watt up out of there. But my question is, if Agent Watt thinks that Penelope is the guilty party, why are you still over here showing him pictures of Zach and Fatima? Or I guess if you're going to be a good agent, you have to explore all options. But, once he realized that Penelope had admitted to it, I thought he was going to be done and he was just going to keep pursuing her even though she had been let out of jail. I guess he just had to keep working on evidence. I don't know how that works. I'm not an agent. If you're an agent, let me know how that works in the comments. I mean, or maybe not, whatever works. But let me know what y'all think about that in the comments. Anyway. And he asks Miss Marie, like, when do black women get to stop fighting? And Miss Marie understands, but it's pretty much unspoken in this scene that it's not going to never happen. It's just never not going to be the case. We just got to make the best of it, and we got to move on. And then Miss Marie asks her, hey, like, what are your plans to get back on top at the law firm? Like, we still talking about stuff that don't got nothing to do with me. And we do see in the projections for next week where she implies to Miss Willis, like, hey, what if I don't want to go back to the law firm? And Miss Willis is like, girl, I'm only there because of you. So we need to figure it out. So we'll be figuring that out next episode. I know we only got 2 episodes until the season is over. So we'll see what happens. Zach and Fatima are at home when Agent Watt stops by to pay them a visit, and he's there to ask questions because, again, now he's on somebody else's trail and he needs to come up with some sort of evidence or whatever he needs to do for whoever he's gonna let take the rap this time around. Either way, that is it. That's season 8, episode 15. Like I said, we got 2 episodes left before the season is over. I guess we'll find out in the last 5 minutes of the last episode who the guilty party is, because again, I don't want to take this over into season 9. I can't do it. I don't want to be bothered with it, but whatever. Let me know what y'all think about the episode in the comments. That's it. Like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever it is that you feel like doing. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.